Welcome to Valley Politics. I'm Terry Christensen, your host for this new show on politics and public policy in Silicon Valley and the South Bay. Today on our show, we'll interview San Jose's new mayor, Sam Liccardo, and learn more about his election campaign and his priorities for his time in office. We'll also have an update on what's going on in San Jose's Council District 10, that's the Almaden Valley in southwest San Jose, with Councilman Johnny Camas. And we visited the office of Ron Gonzalez, who served as San Jose mayor from 1999 to 2007 for our Where Are They Now feature. All this next on Valley Politics. Welcome everyone, and welcome San Jose Mayor Sam Liccardo.
Thank you, Terry.
We want to hear about your priorities for your first year in office, but we're political junkies on this show, so we have to start by talking about the campaign a little bit. So let's just start with what you think was the key to your success. What was the best thing you did in the campaign?
We had a great team, and that's really what won it for us. Ably managed by Reagan Henniger, our campaign manager. We had a great team of volunteers and really young staff who really kept their cool during very tough times. There were a lot of times in the campaign where things didn't look like they were going the right way, and everybody just stayed on board, stayed positive. And we had a great strategy of getting out to a lot of homes to meet people one-on-one. And my wife managed this effort to keep us connected with about 160 hosts of gatherings in the front yards and backyards of homes throughout the city. And that really enabled me to have that kind of contact with folks, 5 people at a time, 25 people at a time. That really helps you build momentum in a campaign.
Talk about those scary moments for the staff and for you. Was there a time in the campaign when you were really nervous?
Yeah, right before we announced, because
Really?
we were having our kickoff, and I wasn't sure anyone was going to show up other than my mom. So I was just glad we had a good turnout and everybody had a good time. I went into this campaign knowing that we were far from the favorites. And so honestly, there was not really a scary moment, because I think we all went in knowing there was a substantial chance we weren't going to win this thing.
You were scared the whole time?
Well, yeah, I mean, we were underdogs,
Yeah.
and we acted like it. We worked hard and kept our head down and didn't worry too much about the bad news, because we knew if we just kept our head down through the finish line, we'd give it a good run.
Very smart.
Yeah.
You won by 2,750 votes out of about 180,000. That's pretty close.
Yes.
And it was a low turnout election and a divided city. West side voted heavily for you, east side voted heavily for your opponent. That's hardly a mandate. It's a victory, but it's hardly a mandate.
Yeah.
So how's that shaped your thinking as you take office and in your first year?
Well, interestingly, we looked back at other elections, and 3 of the last 4 really contested elections where you had a non-incumbent running for mayor, similar
Very
demographics.
close, yes.
East versus west, very close
Yes.
margins. So nothing really new in San Jose. But it's very apparent that this divide between East and West has become exacerbated as the Valley has grown more economically divided. And so I've really focused in the early months of my term on 2 issues. One is safety, and the other is really broadening opportunity in this city, really ensuring that many of those families who feel left behind by the Valley's boom can play a greater role. So everything from focusing on educational opportunities for kids, after school, expanding libraries, expanding teen job opportunities, and initiative we'll be announcing soon around expanding manufacturing job opportunities. Those things that will enable folks to have a better chance at being able to thrive here in the Valley.
Carl Guardino, with the Silicon Valley Leadership Group, raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for independent expenditures to support your campaign. And some people say now he's your vice mayor. We know Rose Herrera is really your vice mayor. But what do you say to that? Is Carl your behind the scenes vice mayor?
Well, if folks wanted to know what I was going to do, I pretty well telegraphed it before I ran for mayor, and I wrote a book. And I wrote a pretty long book about all the things I was going to do, and pretty much everything we've announced has been something I wrote about in that book. And I wrote that book, nobody else did. I listened to a lot of folks' ideas about what we could do. But fundamentally, everything I'm doing is consistent with what I said I was going to do from the get-go. I'm grateful for Carl's friendship. We've been friends for over a decade, and we've worked on everything from transit efforts to bring BART here to affordable housing to initiative we launched to boost tutoring in schools. So I'm grateful certainly for all the help I've had from Carl and his guidance and advice, but I'm a pretty independent guy, and I'll stay that way.
Even with all that money being spent on your behalf.
Well, you know, I had to raise $2 million myself in this campaign, and it's no fun raising money, everybody admits, and the same was true for my opponent. He had to raise all that money as well, had lots of independent expenditures coming in from, you know, casinos and all kinds of groups. The reality is you have to raise money, and then at some point or another you've got to lead, and a campaign is different from running a city.
Well, let's talk more about running the city. You talked about some of your priorities when we talked about the East-West divide, but what are some of the other top priorities or goals for you in the immediate future and the longer term?
Well, certainly safety is on everyone's mind, and we all know we need more police officers, and resolving the ongoing pension battle is a critical component of that, and I'm glad to say that our officers union is now at the table, and we're beginning negotiations. But there are a lot of things I think we can do to make San Jose safer while we're working on restoring the police department. And we've been working on everything from launching a video camera registry citywide to see how we can leverage the many homeowners and store owners' cameras that are out there to help police, doing things with data that can help police better deploy their scarce officers, expanding community service officer program, which has been very effective so far, and really helping our team that's focused on teens, that is the Mayor's Gang Prevention Task Force. A lot of nonprofits are involved in that effort, a lot of partners. We're expanding teen jobs this summer in collaboration with the county. We hope we can get 1,000 teens employed. And we're working on a lot of efforts to see how we can get to our teens before the gangs do.